Black supremacy. So, a disabled black youth was raped by a gang of white boys over in Dietrich, Idaho, at Dietrich High School on October 23rd, 2015. So, this happened late last year. And he was raped anally by these boys, right? And I wanted to go over this story. I've known about it for a while, and it's been out for a while. A lot of y'all probably have never even heard about it because, you know, of course, there hasn't been any hype about it. And this is why I don't believe the hype about just any type of story. For example, um, with what's been going on in the conscious community and whatnot. But I wanted to go over this story to because there was some similarities in the story, and also some contrasting events in the story, and also it's something that we should be up on and should know about, right? So he was raped last year at this Dietrich High School. He was adopted at 4 years old by a white family, and pretty much grew up in an all-white neighborhood and sent to an all-white school. And um, for a period of months, he has been sexually abused, racially taunted, racially abused, um, among other things, right? The school knew about it. The parents that adopted him obviously would have known about it. And also, he is mentally disabled or physically, he's disabled to some capacity. More than likely, it's mentally because he plays on the football team and he was part of the football team. It was his teammates that had sodomized him, right? So before the game even started, they gave him a power wedgie that they called it, where they pulled his boxes over his head to the point that they tore, right? Prior to that, what you call it, uh, one of the same teammates, so-called teammates, the white supremacists, I'll call them, had knocked him out while school teachers and other people in the school had formed a circle around the boy and watched, basically cheered him on. Uh, this other boy from Texas knock him out, right? Now, this has been going on for a few months, and the white parents still kept him going to the same school, and also nobody tried to stop it from happening, like the teachers, the coaches, the faculty, the staff. They just allowed it to happen, right? And ultimately what happened was that the family sued for $10 million, and the three white supremacist um, scouts, three white supremacists were charged. The three boys involved in the incident. Two of them supposed to be charged as an adult, one of them as a minor. And of the two that are being charged, they're supposed to be facing a life sentence. Now, we know that more than likely they're probably going to get off, or the charges are probably going to be lowered, um, based off the fact that, for one, they're white, all white neighborhood. They kind of want to keep this under wraps or whatever. Idaho, some of the people, they claim that that's not Idaho and whatever, whatever. But we know that that's just what they're saying to cover their ass and to not get any too much attention drawn onto them, right? Also, one of the rapists, right? He is, these are the terms. Conscious community, they love these terms, right? So for the sake, especially of what I'm going to go into later, I'm definitely going to put it in that context. Of course, what they did was definitely wrong, right? What they did to him, and so one of the rapists, he comes from Texas, and he comes from supposedly a prominent family, and he's very valuable to Dietrich High School because of his athletic ability, right? But it's also not the first time that he's been involved in any type of racial abuse towards other students. But of course, the school has kept this quiet. And obviously, is led up to this culmination of him being able to kick a stick in this black boy's rectum, and obviously sent him to the hospital, and it was enough for him to get the attention that he rightfully was seeking, right? Because everybody knows that these white crackers, they want to let us know just how much of a devil they are. So he made it known, right? And you know, they did their little investigation for several months, they say, and they finally came to the conclusion that they are going to charge him and charge the other boy. And so what happened too was that he was lured into a hug. I mean, a lot of you have probably heard this story already. He was lured by one of the teammates into a hug when the black youth went to embrace and hug the cracker. Um, he held on to him. He restrained him basically, signal for the rest of them to attack him. The second one shoved the hanger in his rectum, in his anus, and the third one, John Howard, kicked it in there 5 or 6 times. Now they're saying that he's the ringleader because, for one, this is just his thing. He's from Texas. This is what he does. Um, the whole boys will be boys, right? And so he's they're trying to give him the fall for it to a degree. We'll see how far that goes. But there's some similarities in this story because again, you have a gang of three boys, three racist crackers. One of them from Texas. If you look at the girl that got the rope burn around her neck, that happened in Texas by three racist gang of Texas boys. The other contrasting um, part of the story is that with all this happening, um, there's no uproar in the conscious community, right? This is rape. Everybody in the conscious community, y'all, rape is so abhorred, right? But when white people do it to black people, right? And when there is proof, when there is what you call hospital records and blatant proof, there is no uproar in the conscious community. There's no hype, right? A lot of black people, we believe the hype too much. We're so quick to tear down our own. But here you have an actual youth who is disabled, who did not have a choice to have a hanger shoved into his rectum, who did not have any defense, who's truly defenseless, right? And nobody is crying about this is being raped. Nobody is petitioning or protesting for Dietrich High to be shut down, for Idaho to be shut down, for white supremacy to step down or be taken down, right? But for our own black people, right, we go from the individual that may have allegedly committed a certain act to taking down the actual organization, right? To just all out, just fallout, right, in the black conscious community. And this is a shame, right? So this is why we say that we need to be dealing with real issues, right? Because while everybody was busy looking into these Bambata allegations and seeing the party on 125th Street, real black people are being raped, hung, killed, right? Discriminated against in these school systems. And I'm gonna make some other videos just to show you, again, why we need to fully pull away from white supremacy and these school systems. All this is happening in school, right? Ronald Savage probably made a good decision when he decided to skip school and go see Bam that day, because had he been going to these white schools, it might have been worse for him. Why he's not talking about all the other incidences that are going on in the black community? You know, not to say that anybody deserves to be raped or sodomized or anything, but we can't keep tearing down our own people, right, based on allegations, young puppy love that didn't go right, and at the end of the day, greed for money. And you all can say he didn't want no money, right? He doesn't want no money. He's a goddamn politician selling a book, right? Obviously, they believe that Bambata is that powerful and this powerful enough that they got to come and with these allegations 30, 40 years later, right? And why he doesn't want money, but the family of this boy is suing for $10 million, right? So why is there no money involved for these greedy ass Negroes that we know are out there, right? It just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you want money? And then people say, oh, he needs help. He needs to get help. Who help by who? All I see is people trying to basically throw a man under the bus, under a white supremacist bus. Nobody in the black community really wants to so-called offer him help, but that's a whole nother topic in a whole nother video. The point I'm making here is that don't believe the hype, right? And that if we are going to be concerned about our youth, we need to be concerned about them all the time, and not just when it's black people supposedly doing something to another black man, right? Or a black leader supposedly doing something to somebody black. But look what's going on in the greater, the wider world, right? The whiter world is raping and sodomizing our youth, and they don't have any choice. Ronald Savage, he had a choice to go back to Bam's house the next day and the next day and the next day, right? This disabled black youth did not have that choice and did not choose to get that hanger kicked into his rectum 5 or 6 times. Um, so think about that, right? And these are the issues that we need to really be tackling. Why is there nobody protesting this? I've been trying to look into it a little more before I made this video, so I could have a little more details, and of course I have more facts I could put in the bottom and whatnot. But I mean, I think the point is clear: is that it's just too much black hate in the conscious community, the so-called conscious community. Then you know we have people in the people that are giving us this information are not even part of the black conscious community. The people that are disseminating this information to us hate black women, hate black men, right? And check out my other videos, and I can show you how, where, and how that is, right? So the way I look at it, yeah, it's definitely an attack on the black conscious community, definitely an attack on the black man, definitely an attack on black leadership. So we need to get our priorities straight again, and deal with these issues. Now, what would I say? How would I say we should deal with it? For one, we should, this youth, he was adopted by white parents. I say that we definitely need to organize ourselves in a type of situation where we don't adoption is obsolete. We take care of our own. We live amongst each other. The children are raised in the community, um, you know, without white supremacy involvement. Um, if you are sending your child to school, your child should know how to get out of these situations where these white boys are trying to attack you or your child or your youth. Stop sending them to these camps. Um, Stop sending them on these boat trips. I mean, that's another thing white people like to do. They like to go on boat trips with black people and then they wind up dead at the bottom of the sea. Stop doing these things, right? If you know your child is mentally disabled and mentally impaired or handicapped, stop leaving them alone with other crazy ass white crackers. Stop doing this shit, right? Start loving our own people. We need to start loving our own people. Then we can't have these allegations, whether it be black or whether it be white inflicted. We won't have these allegations if we are actually looking out for our own. Otherwise, we just waiting for the next black man to go down or the next, black woman to go down. Meanwhile, we have damn near identical stories, worse incidences, and we're quiet. Tell me that's not black hate. Go back and watch my video and tell me I'm wrong for making that video. Anyways, Black Supremacy joined website kingnobleuncensored.com.